Hey guys, I am Pokemon1086 and welcome back to a brand new video. So in today's video, it's going to be once again another video game review, but not just any video game review. If you remember from my review from Pokemon Shield, you can see Nintendo kind of came in and they kind of so I'm just trying to make amends with them. The Nintendo game I'm going to be reviewing is one that came out for the GameCube, because you see I got the GameCube propped up over here with the controller. And I don't do that just for anybody. And that game I'm talking about is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Now yes, this was an excellent game, I thought, for the GameCube. It actually is my favorite GameCube game. And I know a lot of people maybe disagree with me and say, oh, that's not that great of a GameCube game. Have you played Twilight Princess? Have you played Smash Bros? Have you played any of the Metroid Primes?
Have you played Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, Mario Sunshine?
Hello? Luigi's Mansion? It's my personal opinion. I personally loved Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. It was a game that I used to rent all the time from Hollywood Video. Yes, that Hollywood Video. Unfortunately, it's sad that many places like this don't exist. But I mean, nowadays, when people, especially like adults and people my age, you know, I'm 23, getting ready to be 24, it's easy enough if you have a job to, you know, spend your hard-earned money on buying these games instead of renting them. That way you can experience it for as long as you want. Or, I mean, you can rent it too and then just keep it and just be like, I lost it. But anyway, let's jump into the meat. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness was released in Japan on August 4th, 2005, and in North America on August 3rd, 2005. In Japan, the title is also known as Pokemon XD Yami no Kaze Dark Lugia. It is the successor of the GameCube game Pokemon Coliseum, which was released on March 22nd, 2004. It was developed by Genius Sorority and published by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Sold over 1 million units as of March 31st, 2016. The game is still in high demand for GameCube collectors and Pokemon fans all over the world. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness began development in March 2005 when Nintendo of America executive at the time, Reggie, stated that Pokemon XD would be a new Nintendo GameCube game, but not a sequel to Coliseum. He also mentioned that the gameplay would be more similar to the Game Boy Advance RPG titles Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire. The story begins 5 years after the events of Pokemon Coliseum with the introduction of the hero as the main protagonist. The hero talks to Professor Crane, his mother's boss, who introduces the concept of Shadow Pokemon, which are Pokemon whose hearts have been artificially closed. The criminal syndicate Team Cypher is creating and distributing them to their evil purposes. Crane also introduces a snag machine, which is used to capture shadow Pokemon to purify. You are also given an Aurora reader to identify them from normal Pokemon. Crane is then kidnapped by Cypher agents controlled by Master Greeble, and it becomes up to you and your Pokemon Eevee to go and rescue him. The setting takes place in the town of Ori from Pokemon Coliseum. I always thought Pokemon Coliseum came after XD Gale of Darkness, but apparently I was wrong. Didn't know that. Like, I literally just found that out. Yes, I do own both Pokemon XD and I own Pokemon Coliseum. I played XD first before playing Coliseum because I owned XD since I was in 6th grade, and I would have both cases in front of me, but I'm lazy and don't want to get them up. I feel ashamed of myself because I got that basic ass, generic ass GameStop cover, and I am really disappointed in myself. But I mean, that was the only copy they have left. It was hard to sometimes even find copies of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and around that time, other consoles were out, like the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Nintendo Wii. Companies, especially like GameStop and other places, weren't really selling a whole lot of GameCube games at the time. This was around the time where they were really trying to promote the newer consoles. It came out around the middle of the Nintendo GameCube lifespan. Obviously, Nintendo was still making GameCube games around that time, but this game was really popular. You got a lot of good criticism for the game and a lot of good positive reviews, but at the same time, you got those general mixed reviews because a lot of people felt like it was just Pokemon Coliseum leftovers and it wasn't like an official brand new Pokemon game. Unlike the other games, this game was inspired by Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire. You know, a lot of people may have not have known that, but that's what the game was inspired from. It took inspiration from those two titles. I definitely did have a lot of fun playing Ruby and Sapphire as a kid. Those were two excellent Pokemon games. The events from XD Gale of Darkness take place 3 to 5 years, I believe it is, after the events from Pokemon Coliseum. I definitely did like the story. I don't know what it was. I just thought it was cool that you got to have your own character. Unlike Pokemon games now where you can custom make your own character, give it different hairstyles, different clothing, different, ethnicities. But it was something about making a character, like especially your own name on like an actual console, like the GameCube, like a homemade console. It was something about it that it was really cool that you got to give it any name you want. Now, obviously I gave it my original name. So with the game, you can create like different types of names, but I mean, you could also give it like curse word names. I think you could, or maybe it didn't let you do that because with some Nintendo consoles, it won't allow you. And I think that might have been the game where Nintendo was real strict on the type of words that you put in. Like if you were to put in, like, let's say you named the character Little Nigga, you couldn't say Little Nigga as a character because then it'd be like,
hey, it's inappropriate.
I like the idea that you were your own character. You got to go off on your own adventure. So it's almost like as if you're playing, like, it is a Pokemon RPG, but it's like the ones you play on the Game Boy at the time, except it's not, it's on the GameCube, but it doesn't have all the mechanics. As far as like gym battles and everything, you basically will go around the map and you have to like go to different locations on this map to try and find Professor Crane to get him back from Master Greevil, who is a part of Team Cypher, who is trying to use the Shadow Pokemon for his own evil purposes. The setting was pretty cool, like I mentioned, all around areas of the map. It was a really cool game. For a Pokemon game that came out, I believe it was 2005, that game had really good graphics. Like as far as like Pokemon and like the scenery and all the different places you would go, it had really good graphics. And not to mention like the soundtrack for the game, like the music in certain locations were, depending on where you would go, the music was really cool. It was really catchy. You could even like fall asleep to it. Obviously, I'm not going to play any of the music from the Pokemon game in here because I don't want to get copyrighted, because Nintendo likes to just copyright. Yeah, but the setting was cool. The characters were cool. When I played Pokemon and any other games, I didn't have a memory card until summer going into 7th grade. I didn't have a memory card for the GameCube. So every time I would play Smash Bros. Or Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, I would have to leave my GameCube on, or if I turned it off, I was just gonna have to be a poor little sap and just have to suck it up and just have to replay what I had to turn off. So luckily I was able to get my hands on a GameCube memory card right here, and I was able to finally start saving my progress. I officially beat the game in 7th grade. Enough about that stuff. Let's go into the pros and the cons of the game. So I'm using my old phone here to basically look up the pros and the cons that I had typed up on a script that I did on my MacBook, because I'm using my new phone currently to record this review. I ain't got thousands of dollars to buy a nice camera. The story was really good. Like I mentioned, I really like the story about being your own character. You get to have whatever name you want. Your mom like works with Professor Crane. You get to go on this whole adventure around this area to go save Professor Crane, and along the way you get to do all of these cool battles. You get to look at the nice sceneries around the map. You get to snag so many different Pokemon, and overall I fell in love with the game mostly because of its story. Like the beginning scene with Lugia, when your father, I believe it's your father, he's on that sailboat, and then this whole thing like lifts the boat up and stuff like that. Like that intro scene alone had me sold. I remember being in 3rd grade, the first time I ever played the game. I was like 8 years old, and I was like,
oh my gosh, what is happening?
You know, because it's purple. It was a shadow Pokemon, a Shadow Lugia, and Shadow Lugia was purple. It's a Lugia, but he's evil. No, just that intro scene alone and that story really had me sold on the game. The Pokemon roster in the game was pretty damn cool. Like you got to see a lot of interesting Pokemon. They honestly had quite a bit of Pokemon you can catch between the few regions, or between the few generations that were out at that time. Not to mention that they had a couple Sinnoh Pokemon in there as well, which I thought was really cool because at the time Sinnoh wasn't even out yet. I think it was more of like a hidden concept that Nintendo haven't really released to the public yet. And I'm glad that I was able to like really experience a lot of that, because as a kid at that time, to be exact, when I was playing that, I didn't have a lot of Pokemon games. Whenever I played Pokemon games, up until I want to say Christmas of 6th grade, I would play them for my friends. Like my friends would have a lot of the Game Boy Pokemon games, and they would let me play them or borrow them. Like we couldn't afford to buy a lot of games, and I couldn't afford to get all this and that. A lot of stuff I had to wait for either Christmas or my birthday, or if I saved up the money myself, I would go and buy it. But it was cool to see these Pokemon, to see them in 3D forms instead of their 2D form, and it's just like, wow. So that's what Flareon looks like. And then not to mention all like the legendary Pokemon you can get in there. Not to mention, it reminds me of Pokemon Battle Revolution. You think I'm not doing a video on that? You are sadly mistaken. You see a lot of Pokemon from that, like from that aspect and size. Lugia looks really fucking huge, and a couple other Pokemon look so cool in their 3D form. Mount Battle. I didn't know what Mount Battle was for a while. Like, I just thought, oh, okay. I went in there one time and was like, oh, okay, you only get to go up and you do 10 different trainers. Nope, you literally get to go all the way up to 100. Yes, you get to battle a total of 100 different trainers in Mount Battle. And I thought Mount Battle was so cool because it's literally like in a volcano. Like, you go up and up and up, and the higher you go, the higher you reach the volcano. The vibrant dark colors of like the red and the yellow with the lava really get in there, and you battle so many different trainers, and it literally gets harder. The higher you go, the harder it gets. Like, I am not bullshitting you on this. It literally gets harder as you keep going and going and going. I really started struggling once I got to like 90s. That's when I really started to struggle, because I was able to hold my own, be victorious for most of that. But it's so fun because you can do that as many times as you want, I believe, and it is definitely worth the experience. If you are a new person playing the game and you're trying to level up your Pokemon, that is one of the best ways you can do it, is by doing Mount Battle. Not to mention, you can earn little rewards each time you do it, and then you can use them to earn new moves for your Pokemon, which is really cool. That's how I was able to give my Pokemon to learn certain moves like Sheer Cold, the OP one-hit KO move, and a couple other Pokemon moves. And I did it from doing Mount Battle and earning rewards and prizes and stuff. And it is such a really cool experience. And the animation, like I said, the layout and the animation style for it, as you go up and up and up, is really cool. The 100 person that you battle on that, hard as fuck. Don't take that out of context. So in the game, you also get introduced to Pokespots. They're little islands around the map where you go to, you lay out a Poke Snack or some Poke Food, you'll get a bite, and it will alert you if a Pokemon is there eating the snack. And once you ride there, you go and approach the Pokemon and you can catch it. And that is a really cool way for catching Pokemon. It's hard to find around the map. Yes, you snag Pokemon from people if they have Shadow Pokemon. You can snag them from people, unlike other Pokemon games where you can't catch Pokemon from the trainer themselves. Another thing I really liked about this game was the battle repeats. And what I mean by battle repeats, just like any Pokemon game, sometimes there are trainers that you can go back and battle as many times as you want. You see a lot of that in the Pokemon version of games, maybe even in the Game Boy Advance games. You get to see that in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Depending on where you are in the map, certain trainers along that map, you can go back to those locations. You can battle those trainers as many times as you want. It's another cool feature because, one, it can help you level up Pokemon, plus you can earn a lot more Poke Dollars or Poke Yen to go and buy stuff to purify your Pokemon. Another really cool thing I like is Cypher 6. I know what you're thinking. These guys, this is what you really put in the pros? Some knockoff Power Ranger looking motherfuckers? Yes, those knockoff Power Ranger fuckers I am putting in the pros. Half of them have Pokemon that match their color suits. What? You literally can go there and battle them as many times as you want. And it's so funny to see them in like their little suits with the goggles and the wings. So we're Cypher 6. We're going to destroy you. Man, if you don't get your bitch ass out of here, man, you know I beat your ass for the 20th time today. And that's what I would do on the weekends. Sometimes if I didn't feel like doing the story mode, if I wanted to take a break, I would just go and constantly battle Cypher 6. So now that I mentioned all the pros, let's quickly breeze through the only two cons that I had. Purifying Pokemon. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Really? You're gonna hate on the one thing that you have to do in the game? Yes. Do you know how long it takes to purify every single Pokemon? It takes a lot, especially if you're trying to earn money to buy all the different types of purifying medicines, because there's 3 different types. But purifying all those Pokemon over and over and over and over again, super annoying. Yes, the purifying process, when you see it happening, looks really fucking cool. Don't get me wrong, that shit looks really cool. It gets me pumped each and every time. But the process it took to purifying all those Pokemon, let alone Shadow Lugia, was so long, so tedious. I officially 100% 100% beat the game once I purified Lugia. Now, I beat the actual story mode in 7th grade, but I officially 100% beat the game back in, I believe it was 2018. I posted it somewhere on Twitter and showing a photo of Lugia purified. And man, that is one of my biggest accomplishments as far as playing a Pokemon game, was finally purifying Lugia. Because purifying Lugia took a long time, but best believe once it was purified, that motherfucker had a high ass level after all the battles I did throughout that damn game. So purifying the Pokemon and purifying Shadow Lugia, especially purifying Shadow Lugia, took a long time. I had to look up a tutorial because I absolutely had no fucking idea on how to purify Lugia. Because it's not as simple as, oh, you give it medicine. Yes, you give it medicine. You have to have certain Pokemon aligned in this machine process at Professor Crane's lab in order to get Lugia to officially be ready to purify. It's worth it. Once you put in them grind and them hours, trust me, I have a lot of hours within the Pokemon game. It is such a cool experience once you finally purify Shadow Lugia. I love Lugia's design. Lugia is one of my favorite legendary Pokemon, but the shadow form looked really badass. Like, can we just say how fucking dope the Shadow Lugia looked? And another thing I want to quickly say is that there's a character in the game called Mirror B, and that's where you can snag a lot of Pokemon from. Sometimes he will appear in the Coliseum battles that you do, and sometimes Mirror B will pop up out of nowhere. And when you do, that's an excellent way to catch a lot of different types of Pokemon, especially legendaries. But it's like once you miss snagging Pokemon from him, it's like that's it. Especially the legendaries. Once you miss it, that's it. You don't get any other chance. Mirror B is like this weird dude. He has like this white dude with an afro, and it's like in the colors of a Pokeball, and he has this weird little goofy disco outfit with some shades on. They really couldn't design a better person than that. But it makes it even more better when you beat his ass and you snag his Pokemon. Overall, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is an amazing game, and if you haven't played it, play it. Because a lot of people that I talked to on Facebook when I was trying to recommend doing this said they never got to experience playing Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. So that's why I wanted to do this little review to kind of point out some little itty bitty cons, but a lot of the overwhelming success from this game. And I personally love the game. Like I said, it is my favorite Nintendo GameCube game, especially that I own. Now, sure, there are other games that may be able to top it, of course. In my opinion, my sole opinion, I personally really liked XD Gale of Darkness. Pick it up, you won't regret it. It might be a little pricey because it's a really popular game, especially for GameCube game collectors like myself. It's such a treat. You'll love every minute of it, and if you already know what to do from looking up gameplay tutorials, it honestly may take you like a couple hours to like a day or so to beat the game. But anyway, guys, that is it for the review for Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you are brand new, guys. We were trying to reach 1K on the channel, about halfway there. Let's keep this channel pumping. Let's get to 1K. It has always been my dream to be monetized on YouTube and to potentially make this like a full-time gig. I love entertaining people. I love talking about video games. And if you want to connect more with me, hit up my social media accounts in the link in the description below. Check out my AfroGeek channel if you want more content from me, also in the link in the description below. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next Pokemon 1086 video. I am Pokemon 1086, and I am out of here.